Hi everyone. Welcome to Chakra Mama or Chakra Mama. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing what the seventh chakra is all about. The color is violet or white because white contains all the colors. The location is at the very top of your head, right here, or even above it some. It is the most highest vibration chakra that you possess, and it connects you with the divine. Also, it is helpful because it can give you more knowledge. One of the things I really want to talk about with the seventh chakra is belief systems. Belief systems govern your actions. And I want to illustrate this with a very simple illustration. If you don't believe that something will work for you, you will not do it, most likely. Most likely. So let's say you go to the dentist and the dentist cleans your teeth and the dentist says, "Oh, it looks like you have a cavity. You should come back and I will, get rid of that cavity for you." If you don't believe that you have a cavity, will you go back to the dentist to have it removed? I don't think you will. So, if you don't believe that going to school would be good for you, you won't go to school. If you don't believe that exercise will help you feel better, you're most likely not going to do it. And in fact, if you exercise and you push yourself so hard, especially on the first go, you probably won't do it again because your brain will associate it with pain. So, what you believe dictates action in your life. And thoughts, which is the element of the seventh chakra, all is created here in the mind or here. So here is the sixth, but it is through our thoughts that we create beliefs. Now, how is a belief created? Because guess who is creating the belief? You are. And you know when you create these beliefs? When your brain isn't fully developed. Isn't that the most wonderful thing? I decided when I was 6 years old, I think it was first or second grade, I was very young, and we were having an athletic to see how fit we were. And so if you could hold the bar, not do a pull up, but if you could hold the bar for as long as you could, I didn't understand what they were trying to get me to do. So I held the bar and I let go because I was trying to do a pull up and I only got like a couple of seconds. So I guess I didn't pass the fitness test. And then I heard the athletic teacher say, "I'm not flexible. I'm not very flexible." I decided right then, not knowing that if I was or wasn't flexible, I decided, oh, I must not be flexible either. If my PE teacher isn't flexible, then I'm not flexible. I was a child who could do the splits, but I decided that I was inflexible because of something somebody else said. Uh, we will have situations happen, and if they happen enough times, then the belief becomes more and more solidified within us because we get to decide with each interaction or each experience we have if that experience is a positive or negative one. We get to decide. We get to choose what it means. Seventh chakra is all about meaning, and humans are all about trying to figure out what everything means. That girl over there, she looked at me for like 3 seconds. What does that mean? Does it mean she liked my hair? Does it mean she thought I was being weird or that I was being too loud? Or maybe she just liked my smile. And I get to decide what it is. And we have no idea what it is, but we choose what it is. And then if I have another interaction with someone else and I see someone else stare at me, I start to think, is there something on my shirt? Do I smell bad? What is it? So we're trying to decide what everything means all the time. And we're almost always, not doing it very well because we don't know what's going on in someone else's head at all. We're just guessing with body language, tone, and sometimes there is no tone. No, sometimes there's no voice. Like if you get honked at, You might think it's because you almost ran over somebody, or maybe they were trying to save you from the cop that was coming and you were speeding. Like, you don't know, but we get to decide. And then we decide mostly how we view ourselves and the world around us. So if you are generally treated kindly, or you feel you're being treated kindly, my favorite movie that does this is I Feel Pretty. She decides that she is so beautiful in the movie. She gets hypnotized basically. And if you haven't seen the movie, don't listen to the rest of this. And she actually thinks that everybody thinks she's the most beautiful thing, but she's the only one that believes it. But everything that she has happen in the movie just reaffirms to her her beauty. Even if it's just a normal situation, she thinks it has to do with how pretty she is. It's amazing. It's amazing. So she walks past this group of construction workers, and the guy whistles because he's trying to get the attention of a different construction worker, and she thinks they're whistling at her, and she's like, "Oh, you guys!" And then this guy holds open the door for another person to get through, and she didn't notice, and then she goes in and she's like, "Oh, chivalry is not dead," and she thinks he opened the door for her. And it's just these random instances, but she believes it's because she's beautiful, and so she keeps acting that way. She keeps getting affirmation after affirmation, but she's deciding what these situations mean. And we're so like that. You guys know, I don't even know how many more I need to go into, but I had a boss that only teased people that he liked. And whenever I would see him in the hall, anywhere, it was instant awkwardness because I didn't know if he liked me or not. And so I would always be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he'd be like, "Hey," and that was it. And I worked at this company for a long time, a very long time. And so one day I was just so sick of feeling awkward around him that I decided that he liked me. I'm like, you know what? He likes me. And at the next meeting, he spoke to me. It's all up here. It's all up here. So we influence the world around us with our beliefs, and our beliefs influence our actions. So, okay, one last example. If you believe that knowledge is power, and you know that knowledge comes from books or writing, you will be a good reader because you want to learn more, or you will listen to books. And then you will teach your children to read because you think that that is how they will get far in life. But if you do not believe that, you may never teach that skill to your family members or even to yourself because you don't believe it would help you, you know? Anyway, that's just a few of the things that I could think of. In my yoga classes, I tell my students, you wouldn't come to yoga if you didn't think it would benefit you. You would sleep in. You would not come to my class. But because you came to my class and because it made you feel better, you came back. And then you created a belief. Yoga feels good. And that's a belief. And then when you go and it happens again, then that belief gets stronger. And then you go and it happens again and it gets stronger. And you go and it happens again and it gets stronger. Same thing happens with your interactions with your peers. If you go and interact with somebody and they're nice to you, and then you go and interact with them and they're nice to you on a different day of the week or the next month, and it keeps happening, you're going to think that they like you. Or they're just a very, very nice person who's nice to everybody. I don't know how you're going to interpret that belief. It's just, I really wish that we would look at the beliefs that are not being helpful, that are not serving you, that you may have decided at a very young age. My children, and they're deep, they become very deep. For example, my son, he said out loud, not to me, but he said, "I'm stupid." And I said, "Don't talk about my son like that." And we laughed. But I did not want him to start creating the belief in his mind that because he couldn't understand something within 3 seconds, that he was stupid. That doesn't make, and it happens all the time. Like we think, oh my gosh, if I would have done this or if I would have done that in the first 20 seconds of learning it, then I would be smart. But because I didn't, I'm not smart. And that's just, we make these quick assumptions. And it's like, you are very smart and you don't yet understand this one thing, you know? And that is reframing. We're coming into a growth mindset, which is a great book, by the way, that I haven't quite finished reading, but it does talk about how we see learning and how you can believe that you're born with all the talent that you're going to have, or you can believe that you can come upon a challenge and you'll figure it out. And then you'll come on another challenge and you'll figure it out, and you'll be able to continue to grow and grow and grow intellectually. And some people, especially those in the past, believed you were born with all the intelligence you were going to have and you would never get smarter. And that was it. You were born with it. And that was the entire mentality. So if you believe that you were just born with it or born without it, that will extremely influence the way you live your life. Extremely. What beliefs do you have that are not helping you? That when you think about them, you feel not so good inside. Let's replace the belief. One of the beliefs that I had was that I couldn't be a yoga instructor unless I looked like a yoga instructor looks like. And in my mind, I had a picture of what that looked like. I'd seen Yoga Journal. I'd seen athletic builds. And I thought, if people are going to take me seriously, then I have to look like that, or else they're going to think I'm a fraud and that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I put off going to yoga teacher training for 5 years because I didn't look in my mind like a yoga instructor yet. I'm like, okay, I still don't look like a yoga instructor, so I can't go to school, right? So one day my friend I had told my dream to said, we're going. So I was like, okay, as we're going to school, I'll have the time to start looking like a yoga instructor. And then I went to a class from one of the ladies that taught at the same studio. And she said, imagine this wall you've created, or this image that you've created of what you should be, and then just let it go. And my image that was in my mind just shattered in front of me. And I realized I had been holding myself back. Me. No one else. No one else had told me I couldn't be a yoga instructor. There was no one in my life. I decided that I couldn't do it. And then it shattered, and I realized, oh my gosh, that was not serving me. That belief was not serving me at all. And I was glad that it was gone. So you can replace those beliefs that you have, like you don't feel like you're good enough here or good enough there, and you're comparing yourself to someone or something you've seen or something that you heard. And you can replace that with a new image. And you can start seeing yourself as that thing already. Instead of fighting against it, fighting against those thoughts, you just change them. So I said, I can teach yoga no matter what body type I have. That was a belief I changed for myself. And I had another one that was holding me back. And one of them was, I'm going to screw up my kids. I'll just for sure damage them in some way. And then I would look at all the ways each day how I messed up. And I would find fault. Oh, and see again, am I creating this belief deeper and deeper into my psyche? Yes, and all the good things that I had done that day, and all the times I was there, and all the times I did it well, I did not count those. They didn't count. Only the things I did wrong. And so I would just make these tallies in my mind because I was comparing myself to what an amazing mother would be like, or amazing mother would have done this, or, whatever I had told myself. And then I just keep creating this belief, longer and longer, that I was bad. And it didn't make me a better mother. Isn't that a shocker? Isn't that funny? How finding every single fault about myself didn't make me better? What? Of course it didn't. You can't become better unless you love yourself. You have to accept yourself and know that you, with the growth mindset, are learning all the time, and you're getting better all the time, and you're growing all the time. And so then I started looking at all the good things I was doing and trying to tally those up so that I could change my mindset and my belief about how well I was doing. Those are just some of the ways you can change your mindset. Instead of going into autopilot and how you've always thought about yourself and your beliefs, you can replace them. And it's good. It really is good. So, thank you for learning about the seventh chakra. There's so much more to learn, but I am going to now do the seventh chakra meditation, guided meditation, to help you balance your chakra so that you can see the bigger picture instead of being attached to these tiny things. You can see so much bigger and more than you are right now. And thank you for joining me at Chakra Mama. And please like and subscribe if you would like to see more. I appreciate you. Thank you. Bye bye.